Another day, another important issue to discuss. First of all, welcome to Tuntum Network. My name is Cyrus. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell for more of my videos. This is a tough one that I have to do, knowing the number of Nigerian friends I have and how this may affect our relationship moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact of the matter is this: the more we don't speak truth to one another in the face, the more it becomes everyone else's problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is our neighbor and friend. Nigeria is the heartbeat of Africa. They are the sound and rhythm of Africa to the world because of their sheer size and talents. That is undeniable. Africa's name, to some extent, goes as far as Nigeria goes in many ways. They are a force to reckon with, and that force, ladies and gentlemen, is also a problem to deal with. This is a country its people speak the loudest, both within and outside their borders, in spite of the many terminal challenges they face every day. This is a country whose spirit isn't easily broken. And if you are objective enough, you will concur with these facts, ladies and gentlemen. But a large percentage of the people of this country have chosen a pathway that cannot be encouraged, whether in Ghana, in South Africa, or in any part of the world. And this is what they have done. Ladies and gentlemen, they have given up on the fight to fix their own country and resorted to looking for what they couldn't achieve or cannot achieve in their own country, in other people's countries. And ladies and gentlemen, this shouldn't have been a problem because every other African country actually does it. Except that they are looking for this success by any means necessary and in the shortest possible time. This is the canker that plagues majority of young Nigerian immigrants anywhere they go. Shockingly, ladies and gentlemen, they are of the view that people outside of their country are not as driven and aggressive towards becoming successful as they are, not knowing that it is those same tendencies that's made their country the mess it is in. Many of them are therefore driven into all sorts of illegal enterprises anywhere they settle, getting rich by all means necessary in the shortest possible time. This is what Nigeria is being known for now. Who doesn't want this? But is that acceptable? It has gotten to the point that they don't care how a person makes their money, so long as the person makes their money. But you and I know that that's not how it's understood in other places. Nigeria, your people are running from your country as though the entire country is at war. Both men and women, young and old, to every other country. You have now become Africa's most emigrated country, meaning you have the largest number of people living abroad compared to any other African countries. This was true 20 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, and same today, and the number isn't slowing down because the factors that causes this is still expanding. Your social media content creators who indulge in politics are either doing it with comedy to trivialize the repercussions of their words, or are doing it outside of your country for fear of their lives. Almost every well-meaning person who speaks truth to issues in Nigeria lives outside of Nigeria. Fear and terror have hijacked your country at every front. There is no non-politician fighting for the change that can bring a difference in your country anymore. Almost every relevant voice in your country is either silenced or paid at this point. Therefore, the fight other countries have to put in to attain the peace you see and desire is what you have denied and declined. It doesn't work like this, Nigeria. Nigeria, instead of trying to make yourselves relevant in other countries, instead of trying to insert yourselves into the social fabric of other countries by all means necessary, how about this? How about you go back home and build your country? You have a country that could use a lot of the smart people. How be it, ladies and gentlemen, that the ones who claim to be smart are leaving or have left the country, ladies and gentlemen. Who have they left behind? How will you build your country like this? You have abandoned your country to politicians and cabals whose interest is similar, actually, to yours. And here is my explanation to that. Similar to yours in the sense that These politicians and cabals have conquered the country and now enjoy the monopoly of their powers and will hold on to it by any means necessary as long as they can. And that same spirit, ladies and gentlemen, is what most young Nigerians carry around to other countries. Are you any different, if I may ask? You want to dominate and entrench your dominion by all means necessary in the country you've moved to for as long as you can, just like your politicians and your cabals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the chaos in your country, and the same chaos is being exported to other African countries and to most parts of the world. You have for years elected leaders with similar mindset that has been proven over time to not work, and you don't seem to change. You have allowed for a system that manipulates and rigs election in favor of people who are clueless about nation building to lead. You have a 73-year-old president who's definitely older than 73, complaining about Nigeria not producing anything to the media. The people are complaining to the government, and the president is complaining to the media. Ladies and gentlemen, can't you see the mismatch in those who lead your country and how that has been the crux of your challenges? Does the president of Nigeria know that it is his responsibility to handle this situation or not? Ladies and gentlemen, you have such an old man ruling the most dominant country in Africa, forcing every one of you to run to other places, seeking for change and recognition which you can't even find in your own home country. What other change is there for you apart from the changing of the leadership of your country for once in your lives, Nigeria? Now all of Africa will have to endure and suffer the onslaught of challenges many of your people migrate with. This cannot continue. And now an Igbo man running around in Ghana claims to be king. King of what exactly? If he is the king of Igbos as he claims, then it's more meaningful when he rules from an Igbo land, don't you think? Listen, I like the audacity with which he speaks and carries himself around, but I would love to see that same energy and audacity carried out in Nigeria instead. Could he have had such a voice in any village in Nigeria? He can only do this here because we, the Ghanaian people, have opened our doors to all. But this must stop. Mr. President of Ghana, be guided on how you go about this situation, because the youth of Ghana who made you president are talking on every platform on social media. Our voices are united against anything or anyone that would want to undermine our constitution. Mr. President, stop giving unnecessary validation to this man and his likes. The more he runs around associating and snapping pictures with you, the more he goes around parroting the idea of being someone of significance in our country, which he is actually not. You have a country to run, Mr. President. You must be busy. Your ministers of state and the members of parliament and all don't have to compromise on any level for this man. The Igbo man is a foreigner on our land and not a royal. He can be a king amongst his people in Ghana, but that shouldn't be carried out onto our own people. And ultimately, this is what I want to say to Nigeria. Claiming the giant of Africa's status for yourselves is not in words, but in deeds. Be the giant at home first of all. Go home and begin the process of everything you are looking for out there. Go home and get it started. You have the men, you have the resources, and the attention of the world. What you need is to direct it to where the problem originates. The problem is not in the system of Ghana or South Africa or how any country treats you, because those systems were not built for you. The problem is with your own broken system. You have the financial muscle to mobilize the needed funds for this cause if you choose, but that will be when you make that decision to choose to go and save your country. The people of Nigeria can set up their own political party if that's what will bring the change. But you cannot do that while living overseas or running all the time. You need men and women on the ground to play the role of foot soldiers, ladies and gentlemen. You must go back and be a part of the change you want, or else don't try effecting those changes in other people's countries. And to those Nigerians who refer to Ghana as small Ghana, listen, How do you say small Ghana when Ghana is nearly the size of the UK? The UK is a union of 4 countries, but less than 3% bigger than Ghana, yet controls the world's financial system. Would you call the UK small under any circumstance? Nigeria? I think you choose to be deliberate on denigrating Ghana's reputation by calling her small, simply because this is the only time you can feel proud about something or on any subject when compared to Ghana. It is not the size of the land or the population of the country that determines greatness, ladies and gentlemen, because if that were the case, the UK shouldn't be sitting at the G7. It is your ability to create the most value with what you have that matters, ladies and gentlemen. You have so much, yet you have so little to show for. Let this video rather trigger the anger that is in you, to fuel you to begin on the course for the change that's eluded your country all these years. Go back home and effect that change that you yearn for, or learn to live under the laws of the host countries in which you live. I hope I didn't offend you, but if I did, I had to, because you needed to hear this. And I'll be back with another one very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time to watch this. And I hope you subscribe. And then click on the bell. And then share the link if you like what we do here. I'll come your way again with another one very soon. Until then, God bless Africa. It is bye-bye for now.